If you grew up in a narcissistic family system, you're familiar with all these, you know these all too well. Listen to the end so you see which ones you relate to, which ones you've overlooked, things that are going on that you don't realize. So the first one is, you will find people who don't have any medical background, professional medical background, constantly throwing mental health labels on people, giving diagnosis that they know nothing about. It's different from, oh, this person looks like they're struggling, maybe they're going through something. They usually have a definite stance. This person is this, they're that. They're not a health professional. They have never learned anything about psychology, but they weaponize these labels. This is done to discredit the person they are insulting or attacking, so that whenever that person speaks up, no one believes them. So you always need to be careful when people come to you saying someone has a mental health illness that person did not actually say they have, especially to you. And if that person is not a professional, you shouldn't listen to that because you're isolating someone. It's also the same as I'm concerned about this person's mental health. Those people are usually the people who drove that person over the edge. The second one is they demonize how you cope with how you've been impacted. So I have a lot of compassion with people who end up with behaviors that harm themselves. And that is because the very people that did that to them, pushed them over the edge, will end up treating them ill, saying negative things about what they are going through. And yet they are the root cause of the problem. So there's a lot of driving people over the edge. And when those people cope in negative ways towards themselves, then they have a second thing to talk about, to insult. Next, there's an invisible hierarchy. This hierarchy dictates how people deal with emotions. It dictates how people can feel empathy, can do all sorts of things. So let's talk about healing, for example. There's a timeline to how long you get to heal if you're at the bottom of the hierarchy. The person at the top of the hierarchy gets to heal 20 years, 30 years. But the people that they deem at the bottom, should they take more than a month, a year, should they mention something that hurt them, that was never processed, they are demonized for that. They will say, why are you still holding on to this? What kind of a person are you? What is wrong with you? And yet you know that same person took 20 years healing something. So the hierarchy dictates that people at the bottom of the hierarchy are always governed, how long they take to process things, what they can process. Which takes me to my next point, which is people at the bottom of the hierarchy cannot share their feelings and their emotions if it goes against the hierarchy, if it goes against the thought that everyone at the top of the hierarchy can never be wrong. So there's people who can never be wrong, and there's people who will always be wrong. And this is all based on the hierarchy. Even when someone is outright wrong, for example, I witnessed someone being threatened with assault, being told you're going to be assaulted, you're going to be beat up. This is wrong, but it was being done by someone who is considered at the top of the hierarchy. So nobody told them this is wrong, don't do this. And even when people were discussing afterwards, you can never say wrong and the people at the top of the hierarchy's name in the same sentence. They can never be wrong. There's also selective empathy. The people at the top of the hierarchy get empathy. It's demanded. But should those people do anything to the people they consider at the bottom of the hierarchy, and let's say it's a toxic family system, it's usually the scapegoat, that person doesn't deserve empathy. They could do something to you and you are hurt. Should that same thing happen to them, it's a whole big issue. But for you, they minimized it and they said, oh, get over it. Oh, this doesn't matter. You literally don't have feelings in these situations. You have no place. Your emotions don't matter at all. If they pretend like they do matter, know that in the future, they're preparing to weaponize it in some way. The next thing you'll notice is they will accuse you of what they are doing. So they will be in the middle of bullying you and then they'll call you the bully. So there's a lot of projection that happens in these situations. And a lot of it, if you listen, especially when they're making assumptions about your character that are not founded, it's always projection. If you say something and they twist your words, They are thinking from their perspective how their mind works. Even if you didn't say something, they would twist your words and say you said something that you did not say. This is unhealthy families. This is unhealthy relationships, unhealthy situations, narcissistic systems, family systems. If you witness these behaviors, some of them are insidious. You have to have, oh, I forgot another one, a very important one. They make out positive qualities to be negative if they challenge the hierarchy. So being a critical thinker, that is going to be seen as something negative if it challenges or exposes the people at the top of the hierarchy. Being analytical, being able to defend yourself if you're being slandered or if people are lying to you, being intelligent. Anything that shows you have mental independence is demonized because it means you can't be brainwashed, you can't be controlled, you can't be played with, you can't be manipulated. So you become the problem. These qualities become the problem. And yet these qualities are the reason why people are successful in their lives. You always need critical thinking. You always need analytical thinking. You always need to be able to stand in your own opinions, in your own belief. You always need mental independence to make it in life. So you need to understand these systems. These systems, and relationships, they strip away the part of you that makes you independent, that makes you someone who stands up on their own, who's autonomous, who is protective of themselves, who creates safety around themselves. So this is what you need to know. And if you're experiencing this, I just want to tell you, you deserve empathy, you deserve safety. Do whatever you need to do and get yourself out of those situations. And if you haven't listened, go listen to 2 Forbidden Healing Secrets at realtalk.fitwithchido.com. In here, I share things I have used to heal. A lot of the things I spoke about in this video, I have experienced firsthand. I've implemented the things I'm talking about in 2 Forbidden Healing Secrets. That has helped me to move forward. So go listen to it. Run, don't walk.